They say don't relate. Some shit just don't apply to you when you great. If I got it, pay. I don't pay, I don't play. Tell them put me in the
What's up with the family?
I don't play, I don't play. Remember I died, I was young. I don't pray, I just wait. When my time gotta come, cause I'm down where I stay. Niggas die every day. Gotta ride if you spray. They gon' try, they gon' pay. I get mine every day. You tryna hide, but we gon' collide until I define wherever they stay. You talking flying till niggas dying, now you gon' crash the way. Let's go. Niggas are riding, be right beside you, really whole time be feeling away. They try to hide it when you start really getting to the money and going away. I'm out of time, I really be working, really be moving, really be shaking. You and your bitch, you really be simping, really be faking, really be showing me lately. I'm optimistic, I'm patient, but if you ain't worthy, I'm taking what? They think it's no reputation, really just principles that I ain't shaking. Get no reaction, we gon' be silent, we gon' be scheming, we gon' be plotting till you be slipping and nobody see. Ain't tryna box, we gon' be brief. I ain't gon' reach, but I'm gon' teach. If you cross me, I might shoot three. I won't pump fake, I won't both feet. I stand on my own and I walk in my street. You ain't been through nothing, these niggas be weak. I pray to my God and I let it all be. Ride for the squad.
What is going on, family? What is going on? What is going on? Listen, welcome to the BizCo Zone. This is Dr. Jake Taylor Jacobs, the people's business developer. And my number one goal is to make sure that you got all of the basic essentials needed to take your business to the next level. This is one of the only live business shows on the internet right now. If y'all ready for class, press the number one. If you're ready for class, press the number one. What I do want to mention right now is that if you have not been a part of our from scratch, indestructible product from scratch, free 2-day intensive, today is the last day. Today is the last day. You can go to bizcoclass.com and register for that. For today's notes, it will be, I think, on bizcotv.com. I got to talk to my team. But if anything, you'll be able to get this on our blog at thebizcofirm.com. Other than that, I just want to get into class because I really want it to be brief because I do teach tonight, and when I teach in my seminars or my sessions, I do like to give it all I got, and I don't want to teach 2-3 hours 2 times in a day when I don't have to. Okay. So today we're talking about, as clear as the title showed you, how to keep your business from dying. I see a lot of people online and on social media. I see a lot of people online and on social media really talking about like marketing and sales and branding and ads and all of these things. But the truth is, a lot of us don't even realize like $1 million and $1 billion revenuing businesses, like be going bankrupt. Like $1 million and $1 billion businesses and entrepreneurs go bankrupt. And this is a hard concept or hard truth that a lot of us don't want to really understand. Ignacio! Don't really want to realize. So this lets you know that success in business is more than just about revenue. Can you send a text out to everyone and let them know I'm alive? It's to let them know, it's to let you know that revenue alone, nice branding alone, is not enough to allow for your business to grow, sustain growth, and continue building. And I don't know about y'all. I don't know what demographic you come from or what or what environment that you were raised in. What's going on, Mario? All is well, bro. Thank you. Um, but where I grew up and how I grew up, like winning and staying successful is not just critical for myself, it's critical for my entire family. Um, and when you get to that space in time, or that space in life when Tory Lane said, "What's up?" Okay, what up? What up, Tori? So, when you get to that space or you get to that position in life, one of the biggest things that you got to understand is that it's not just you, especially when you're building a business, right? It's not just your customers that you have to stay alive for, but it's your family that bought into the vision. It's the people surrounding it that bought into your leadership. It is your it's your staff that depends on you day in and day out, where you're required to make sure that your business is alive. But also, if you got children and you're a parent, you got to keep your business alive for your children. I'm gonna tell y'all something. The most successful businessman that I got to see for the majority of my life was my pawpaw. My pawpaw was my mother's my bonus mom, but my mother's father. He was not my blood grandfather. He was my pawpaw through marriage, but he took me in as a little child like I was his own. And y'all, when he passed away, he spent all these years taking care of everybody. And when he passed away, he only had $50,000 left to divvy up in his paid off house. That's it. Nothing else. No business, no big portfolio, nothing. This is a man that I know have crossed $1 million once or twice in an annual year in his business. A man that I know had tremendous credibility and clout in the city of Dallas. But when he passed away, all those years being away from his family, all those times, all those hours, all those days, all that sacrifice, and he left almost nothing in comparison to what he made. Now, I don't know if that matters to you or not, but that very damn sure matters to me. I get, some of us are just trying to win just for ourselves. But it's no better feeling to be able to look your mom in the eye and tell her you got her. It's no better feeling to be able to tell your sisters that you got their college tuition. It's no better feeling to be able to pay off your parents' home and take care of the people that's around you. Give jobs and opportunity, employment to your best friends so that y'all can go build something collectively together. Y'all, there's no better feeling. No better feeling. Everyone that's around me in my business have been around me damn near a decade. All of my closest, my top executives have all been around me at least a decade, except for one. And he's been around me 3 years, going on 4. Like, a sustainable business matters. I get, we want the nice cars and a nice house. But you forget, you want a mansion but forgot how much you pay in taxes every year. The more land you have and the bigger your home, the more in taxes that you pay. So yeah, you may even pay off your house, but your taxes every year still may be 6 figures. So if you do not have a business that can stand the test of time and be able to grow and be able to be solidified, you're just going to have a job that you own, and you're going to be in a position where you cannot succeed long term. Now, I just want to know if I'm talking to the right people. If you want to build something that lasts, let me see some fives. If you want to build something that lasts, let me see some fives. Before we even get going, let me see some fives. And y'all know what this means? This means getting out of the idea that business is sweet. I get it. I see everybody online talking about, you know, like this lifestyle. Whatever that freaking lifestyle is, I still don't know what the lifestyle is. You want to get on a jet. You know, from just a one-sided trip from Tampa, Florida to LA is at least $36,000 one way. One way. It's about $78,000 to $85,000 two ways, depending on how long a pilot has to stay in that city and wait on you. Going about 4 hours away on a flight is at least a $10,000 round trip ticket. Full-time maid, house manager, about $50,000 a year. Driver, about $50-something thousand a year plus benefits. If you want them to stay around and miss other opportunities, you're gonna have to end up paying double, but you know, that's the cost. Full-time nanny. Full-time, you want them to actually treat your children like they love them, $50,000 to $60,000 a year plus benefits and paid time off. I'm just keeping it a buck with you. See, these are the costs that people don't tell you. And we make all of our money just to go spend it on these things that won't come back. Now, I'm not saying that we don't have it in our plan as a company to go buy a jet and all these other things, but what I am saying is that trying to overindulge in things before you can actually afford to splurge is crazy, and that's the number one killer of business. We don't run a business. We run a hustle that makes us extra money so that we can go and look fly for people we really don't give a fuck about. Like really imagine this, right? Think about it. Really think about this, right? We say, man, F this person. They left me hanging. Now they finna see me shine. And you're so angry that somebody didn't believe in your dreams that you go and shine and spend all of your bread shining. And when a tough time comes in business, because it always does, you don't even have enough to sustain yourself. No, watch this. Not only do we not have enough to sustain ourselves, your image and your marketing and your shit talking was now all based on material things. So if you went and sold them to get access to capital to sustain you and your business, you would never do that because your pride is too caught up in the material things that you purchased. Y'all see the trap? What's going on, Young? Appreciate that. Do y'all see the trap? And now we are caught up, landlocked into an image, enslaved by our business, and you wonder why you never get to enjoy it. I don't care what anybody tells you. The number one passive income that you can ever make It's passive income from a viable, healthy, profitable business that you created that is operating and growing without you. There's not one real estate. There's not one just regular stock market that can give you that type of satisfaction. I built this and I'm passively enjoying the benefits of what I built. Yeah, there are people that made millions and billions of dollars investing in Facebook, but not more than the creator of Facebook. Yeah, there are people who made millions and billions of dollars in investing in these other social media platforms and tech companies, but not more than the CEO and the founder or the founders of that company. So when we talk about like really doing business, like I'm really on this campaign, and I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. Some of y'all that have been following me for a minute, y'all know I probably had like a 6-month phase where I was stunting hard. 6 months, stunting hard. Rolls Royce cash, souped up Jeep cash, S550 cash, jet flights everywhere I go, presidential Rolexes, like all of this stuff, cash, debt free, company growing. And God has a way of humbling you. See, I was experienced what they call supernatural growth in business. And when you're new to supernatural growth, you think that that's how it's always going to be. So you begin to change and shift your life to what you think is always going to be, and then when life come and hit your ass, yeah, when life and business comes and hit you, think about the stock market. A lot of companies are tanking right now. They went from being the greatest companies in the world to now being perceived as the weakest companies in the world. Only what? Just because of the cycles of life and business. It's a cycle of business. And when you don't understand cycles, you miss out. So I'm gonna show you what a cycle of business looks like. If you're not on my YouTube, you're not going to be able to see this, or if you're not on my Facebook or wherever you are, Lord, you're not going to be able to see what I'm about to write on the board. But hopefully this right here will be able to save a lot of you when it comes to growing successful businesses. One of the biggest things that saved my company during a very, very rocky, tough time is the fact that I did buy very exclusive, high-end purchases that would be considered assets to some. So when I began to liquidate it, it was actually healthy for my business to be able to do it. And I'm just gonna keep it a buck with y'all. Like, I learned a lot in my roughest time in business. I tell people all the time, like, you complain about, losing opportunities and clients and whatever in business, but until you lose about $3.5 million in a 45-day run, you and are able to still sustain and survive and readjust and start from your newest low. Until you're able to do that, you don't know, you're not in business. And my mentor told me, he said, what's the biggest loss that you have? My newest mentor. And I told him, he said, okay, good. He said, I don't mentor anyone that didn't lose less than $2 million, didn't lose at minimum $2 million in their business. Because that means that you weren't playing at a level high enough to scale and stretch yourself to see how it contracts and comes down. And I see so many people, so many people get so caught up in just trying to make money today that you miss out on the growth that your business can actually incur for the next phase. And so I want to talk about that and how to make sure how to keep your business and how to keep your business from tanking. I hope I'm talking to the right people. Maybe I'm not. Maybe you all don't really care about that, but that's something I think is important. I think that's something that I believe is important, and if you don't believe that that's important, then that's definitely on you. All right, so let's go to the board. So essentially what he was telling me was I'm not a millionaire until I lost $1 million and got it back. That's when I know it's not a fluke. It's kind of like we in hooping in basketball we say you're not a hooper. We're not a hooper until you actually can come down from a deficit and still score. And so when it comes to growing a successful business, a lot of us are taught if this is our X and Y axis, right? If this is our X and Y axis here, a lot of us think that business goes like this. Man, I got in business, that thing is going to go. A lot of us think that business goes like that. And it's like, yo, when my business is up and popping, boy, we own and we popping. Some of us think that business goes like this. Right? But in truth, business actually goes like this. So when you start your company, it's going to go like this. It's going to go up. Oh my goodness. Then it's going to reach this peak, right? So what I want you to understand is like if this is the bottom,
Powering off.
if that's your bottom, right? Your business, when you're growing and you're scaling and you're learning, you're always going to lose money during the scale. And I went on David Shane's, he has a group called the Morning Meetup, okay? And in the Morning Meetup, he talks about this. And so a lot of us, he mentioned this in the Morning Meetup that I taught him this, okay? So a lot of us feel like when it comes to business, that when it comes to you growing your business, it's stagnant. But actually, when you're scaling your business originally, you lose money during the scale because there are elements about your business that you do not know. And then you begin. This is probably too steep. It's probably not that steep. Hold on one second. I'm gonna get y'all right. Hold on one second, y'all. I got y'all. I'm just gonna do this here. I'm gonna go with my lines. I'm gonna do this here. Bam. And then I'm gonna do another line. Bam. Okay. So we're going to pretend that this is time down here. I don't like that color. Time is down here. And money is going this way. So money is on this axis, time is on this axis. Y'all follow me? Okay, cool. All right. So when we start a business, the key that you got to understand is that when you first start your business, a lot of us are always trying to be profitable. A lot of us are trying to be profitable right out the gate. But in truth, if you really want a successful business, you must be okay with during this phase scaling down to be able to scale up. That's typically how it goes when you're going in business. Why? Because somebody said, I met you a year ago. Ike Omar said, I met you a year ago at the gas station in Arlington when you were in the Rose. Me and my wife and my son and my daughter. Thanks for the blessing again. Oh my gosh. What's going on, bro? Yes. Yes. I do remember you all. And listen, let me pause here real quick. I appreciate you for bringing that up because one thing I do not ever really talk about are the times that I actually bless people. Because I don't believe that blessing people should be a PR stunt. You know, when people like want to bless people, they say, hey, listen, take this camera right here and let them know that I just gave to you. I actually forgot that I gave to this family. This is brother. They always in the car. They always about to go and work. And God put it on my heart to bless you all. So I appreciate that, family. All right. So when it comes to running your business, right, you got to understand that you're going to lose money initially. Why? Because you always lose money in the areas when you don't know. So if you're trying to get into a new industry, you're trying to scale your business, or you're trying to get to the next level, you're always going to lose money. But I call this investing period. So when I lost $3.5 million in 45 days, at first, originally, me in my natural state, I was like, man, F this, man. I lost money, da da da. But what I began to look at were all of the lessons that I was beginning to learn that I never would have been privy to learning if I not had been at that highest level in business and began to take an L or a loss at the level that I began to take a loss at. Does that make sense? And so what happened was, yes, I lost, but my loss was nothing in comparison to my start. My start, I had $0. And I went negative, past negative, in order just to get back to the starting line to be able to grow. Once we got here, this is what you call stabilization or maturity. Once you reach this level here, you begin to stabilize. And there are two things that happen. If you're always going to continue to grow, I met you getting your hair cut over at Doc House, and you gave me some real advice that I still use today. Man, wow. So when you got this stabilizing and growth here, you're going to take an L, and it may be steep. Hold on. You're going to take a loss, and it may be steep, but if you look at this steepness in comparison to this steepness, it is the same. Yes, more money may be at loss here, but the lesson is still the same. The depth of the lesson is still the same. So at every level that you grow, it's going to continue to happen in that way. And so that's how businesses typically grow. So what happens is when we purchase certain items that devalue extremely fast or they don't hold weight, and when your business is in what we call for lack of better words, a resetting period. This is when you grow, then your business resets based on your new growth. And when it resets, you lose money. So if you spend all of your money during before the reset, and life hits you, your business can collapse before you even really got started. I hope this is making sense, and I hope this is not too far over y'all's head, but this is just a space and time that I am in life. Like I'm past, I just hope I'm not over talking anybody, over teaching anybody. So when we talk about the reset period, right? We don't account for the reset because we spent the reset. You keep spending your reset. And so like people like Jake, like, so at what point does it reset? I don't know. It resets once you hit your capability. All right, for an example. If you're in business, right? And your money threshold is at $100,000. Let's go back to the board. If your money threshold was at $100,000, so say your money threshold was at $100,000. So say this is $100,000 right here. That's your money threshold, okay? Okay, that's your money threshold. Say you started right here. And you start selling your business, it goes under, and then you killing it, and you say, man, I hit $100,000. I hit $100,000. I hit $100,000, and a lot of us be like, man, see, I made more money on my business than I did my job. But really, you making $40,000, $50,000 a year at your job is equivocal to about $100,000 a year as a solopreneur in the independent world. Why? Because your 50, 40, 50, $60,000 based on your comp schedule, like your benefits, your insurance, your paid time off, your blase, that comp, when the company is looking at your full comp plan, it says almost $100,000. So although you may only get 45 from your job, your comp schedule may actually be worth $100,000. So that's why usually when your first year, you go off into doing entrepreneurial things, and if you kill it, you're like, man, I made more money on doing this than I did my job. 9 times out of 10, that was your income threshold. Okay, so now watch this. Watch this. So once you hit your income threshold of $100,000, it sets for a second, and then it resets under your threshold. It resets under your threshold, and then it goes up to your next threshold, which let's say maybe $250,000. And the reset is you would never make more or keep more than your capability. You would never make more or keep more than your capability. So, for an example for me, when we crossed $10 million in a 9-month span, that was way past my threshold as an executive. So we were growing, we were adding, we were pushing stuff to it, but my development hadn't superseded that amount. So anything over 10 million would have to drop back down in the reset period because it was past my ability to manage. You know, you never get more than you can handle, right? That's both bad as well as successful. So with that mantra or with that motto being stated or being said, it's easy for me to get upset and be mad and be like, man, I lost $3.5 million. No, if I made this much money and then I had a loss that took me under that number, say 3.5 million, that lets me know where my real marker is. So it's say, I'm just giving y'all an example. I'm not going to tell y'all exact numbers, but let's say it was over 10 million. But let's say 10 million was it. And then I lost 3.5 million. That means that 6.5 million was my real marker. So for an example, momentum in this example, momentum took me over my marker. But when things begin to settle, there's a settling period. I went back down under my marker for a reset. Now, in this phase, this is where so many entrepreneurs lose it. Because in this phase, you got to have some cojones, balls, men and women. You got to have some extra currency that can hold you over, and you got to have the fortitude to keep going. Because when this reset happens, there's only 2 ways you can go. You either tank down or you grow back up. There's no such thing as settling here for a long period of time. You can maintain it for a period of time, but over the length of time, you cannot keep it up. It isn't making sense. So, when you hit this level, there's going to be a settling period. Y'all, that settling period can last 2 weeks. That settling period can last 5 years. But after the settling period hits, the settling period is determining, can you handle the growth? Can you handle this growth? Once the settling period decides if you can handle it or not, which most people can't, it resets to where you really can handle it, and then it grows back up past this. This will be your new bottom. Where you set will be your new bottom, or it'll tank down to your original bottom. So when people begin to start making money or doing whatever, and then they begin to start spending it or just trying to maintain it and scared to make moves, don't hire better, more equipped people, that's going to let that settling period know, oh, you can't handle being at that level. And it's going to take you back down. And if you spent all your money during this period, when you hit this area, you will not be able to sustain yourself. That's an area that I did not know, because when you're talking about scaling and supernatural growth, that phase moves a lot faster than slow and steady growth. Slow and steady growth, you can kind of grow as you go, and so you won't deal with those many drips and drops. But when you see supernatural growth like that, if you're not growing at a faster pace than your company is growing, your bottom is going to bottom out. And if you don't have any capital or access or know-how to sustain it and stop the hurt, that's how people's businesses typically crumble and they crash. And so we dealt with that as a company. When we got here, well, this was, I'll make it more real. When we got here, that's where it hit us. So in order for us to sustain during this period of learning, see, here's the deal. This is what y'all got to understand. Whether you pay for a mentor or not, life is going to make you pay for education. Period and point blank. Here's why. During this phase, when $3.5 million was lost, we was recalibrating, we was trying to refocus, we was trying to regear, bad product hit the market, a whole long story behind that. We don't have enough time today to talk about it. But when that recalibration period happens and you begin to take a loss, it's because you're too deep in water that you were never supposed, you're just too deep in water. You was too deep in water. So it always recalibrates you back. What's going on, JG? And when it recalibrates you back, whether you believe that you're going to pay for that education. So whether you invest in a mentor or not, you're going to pay for education. So here in this phase, I had to pay for what I did not know. And see, here's the deal. This is why you got to work on your mental. Because I went through plenty of days. I was like, man, forget this, bro. The boy, they goddamn, boom, boom, boom. Man, this. I have friends like JG that say, hey, bro, hey, stick to it. Blah, blah, blah. Hey, bro, stay to it. Think of it like this way. Like, you got to be able to have counsel, but you got to have a strong mind to say, you know what? Fuck it. I'm with the shits. So I'm going to tell y'all the truth that most people ain't going to tell y'all. Y'all ready? So in order to sustain my company, in order to keep us moving forward long enough for me to learn the lesson that was required for us to be able to scale and go back to the next level, was I had to let go of the things that I purchased that were good assets that I could liquidate to keep the company during that time. So what happened? Not only did we lose 3.5, but I sold my Rolls Royce. I sold all of my Rolexes. I sold my family land that we purchased earlier that year. What else did I sell? I liquidated our land, our Rolexes, our Rolls Royce. We had 2 other cars, but I traded those in for my Porsche today. Yeah, that's pretty much it, right? So I liquidated these things, which I actually ended up making money on when I liquidated it. And I put it into the business to be able to sustain our learning period until we can be able to figure out how to be able to scale up. See, that's the truth of business that your OG mentor ain't going to tell you. That's the truth of business that everybody's not going to admit. And then not only that, we had 56 full-time employees. We're down to 14 now. So that's what? What's that? 30. That's 42. What's that? Yeah, that's 42 people we had to let go in order to keep the boat steady. Now, some people say, what about if you don't spend any money until you know that you're safe? Whatever the case is, either way, that capital is going to have to stay somewhere until your reset period is free and clear. You said my daughter here, like, no, not the Rolls Royce. Oh, I got a Porsche. My Porsche is better than the Rolls. Don't worry. I didn't take that much of an L. I didn't take that much of an L. It's okay. Julian Gordon said, I trust you as a captain. A captain's name is made by going through a storm. And this is what you learn during your recalibration phase, right? A lot of us like, man, how can I keep my business from failing and dying? You got to prepare for the storm. So yeah, I bought a Rolls. Yeah, I bought land. Yeah, I bought Rolexes. But all of those purchases keep their value or even grow in value. So when I sold them, I actually made money to sell them, and then I liquidated it. You said Jalen Rose knows you too. He said, what's up? What's up? So those were things I got to drive, but I liquidated, made some money, and I put it back into the company. But these are things that people don't tell you about as you are growing and excelling and building your business. The only thing that we're taught about business is to go and make money, to go on a vacation, and go do whatever else we got to do. Right? That's what we're taught. And if that's what we're taught, then guess what? You're never going to get to the next level. You're never going to get to the next level. So the number one thing that you can do to keep your business from going under is to think about your business long term. Because your business is your retirement plan if you do it correctly. Your business is your exit strategy. More money is made when you leave the business than it is made when you're in the business. It's an asset. It's kind of like somebody going into a multifamily property like my brother Julian Gordon teaches. And you're making money in the multifamily property in an area that's going to be developed and grow. When you finally decide to sell it 10, 15 years, 5, 8 years later, your exit is going to be more than the money you made passively, generally speaking. So in your business, the goal is not for you to scrape your business clean. The goal is for you to continue to add and continue to make your business better, continue to be prepared for the learning experiences, which brings me to my ultimate point. Here's my ultimate point when it comes to that information. This is why investing in consulting is absolutely key for your business. One of the biggest things that I teach, especially in business, is getting your business health screened every single year. A business health screening every single year. That's one of the things my company specializes in, health screenings and business audits. Because if you don't get your business audited, if you don't get a health screening on your business, it's just as vital as if you never go get your teeth or your body checked from the doctor and the dentist. The hygiene of you is necessary. The health of you is necessary to know that you're healthy. Your business needs to know that too, because when you get an audit, you get a screening, you go to a consulting agency that can do that for you, and you invest into those tests and all the data that comes back, it'll let you know where you're out of your element. So that either you can hire somebody who's a specialist in that element, or hire a consulting firm that can guide and educate you and walk you through it. So when that moment comes up to test if you're knowledgeable of something, you already have things in place that prepare you for that tough time. So your drop isn't as big of a drop. If this is making sense, just press the number 1. Let me know it's making sense. If this is making sense, just press the number 1. Let me know it's making sense. That's all I care about. Everybody knows I always say my goal is not to make you a millionaire tomorrow, but a millionaire for the rest of your life. And you got to understand business is not sweet. You got to understand there are great points in business, but there are just as many lows in business. Just as many lows in business. So I'm not going to teach extremely long today. I'm actually going to cut it short. Tomorrow, I'll be going live on the platforms to actually talk about the 5 areas that you need audited every year. I'm going to talk about that. But as of today, tonight we're teaching the second and last part of the From Scratch series of building a winning product from scratch. You can go to BizCoClass.com. You can go to BizCoClass.com and register. It's free. Some of you all missed yesterday. You may be able to catch up a little bit from the day that you missed, but it's available. For those of you that went to the first class yesterday and you didn't do your homework, or the day before yesterday you didn't do your homework, you may want to do your homework now. It's going to be at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, I think. I think it's 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I don't remember. Y'all go to BizCoClass.com and figure out the time there. I don't really know the time. I just show it when my team say it's ready. It's time to go. So, come tonight. The class is free. It will be 3 to 4 hours like we talked about just the last time because that's exactly how our 2-day intensive are. They're intense for a reason. A lot of information, everything you need in a shorter period of time so you can get your results faster. And it's 1,000% free to attend our 2-day intensive. And it's called From Scratch, teaching you how to build a winning product or brand from scratch the right way. So I'll see you all tonight. BizCoClass.com. Register for that class. And please be mindful to pay attention to the email that you registered for that class, because we talk a lot and we communicate a lot through email. So put the email that you typically see best. So it's 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I will see you all tonight. 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Go to BizCoClass.com to register. It is free. Okay. You all missed Tuesday, but I won't say that's fine. You missed a lot, but you should be able to get a lot of game that we're going to be talking about today. Okay, so I will see you all tonight in like 4 hours and 30 minutes. So see you all soon. Peace.